student. I'm a student at the GCCS Corporation. So this is more of a comment, and I would like to see if the school board members could have a response to this. Basically what I wanted to mention is, as Mr. Condon mentioned earlier, we are focusing a lot on standardized testing, and this isn't exactly related to what he said, but that kind of got me thinking about, we've been having ISTEP recently. I'm a sophomore currently, so I've been going through that, and I'll have to go through it again next quarter and second round of ISTEP. Personally, as a student, I don't appreciate the time that's taking away from my class time. I have talked to some senators about this. I talked to Senator Grooms about it. Personally, as a student, and I also talked to other teachers, we're not exactly happy with how much time we're spending on learning how to take a test over learning how to do real-world application. And so I would personally like to see having more time in the classroom over having more time taking tests, because it's either because of the 70-30 grading scale or because of the amount of standardized tests that we have to do. I don't see where we're getting any benefit from that. So if anyone has any comments on that, I would like to hear it.
I'm going to pass this over to the school board. But I'm walking over there and have a few minutes. Representative Gooden talked about the importance of prevention and why it is cheaper to prevent problems than it is to treat those problems. And we see that all across the board. You see that in First Steps. You know that if you deal with children at a very early age and they learn principles of even getting along and basic learning, you may have less problems in your elementary schools. We're certainly finding out now with the opioid epidemic that we got so far behind that, we were not on top of that, and now we are paying a very serious price. But on to ISTEP, which was one of my husband's chief complaints being a counselor, is those daggone ISTEPs. So that's your all's bag.
I'm passing down.
Pass it down. I agree with you, though.
Yeah.
The microphone stops here. The last place I taught in Greater Clark was the Juvenile Detention Center. Now, I was the only teacher there. So guess what happened when ISTEP came along? I had to administer ISTEP to anyone in the detention center, so anyone who had been arrested. That is the detention center for Floyd, Clark, and Harrison. So there were 7 school systems, possibly, that I could have students from. And so each day that I would come in, I would look at the census and pray that nobody who needed to take ISTEP had been arrested the night before. And that would literally happen. I would come in and I'd already been testing for the last, let's say, 3 days, which means the rest of the students did not have school for those 3 days. And then I'd come in and think I was finished with testing, and lo and behold, somebody from 8th grade came in the night before, and when I called their school, they said, oh, he needs to finish ISTEP, or she hasn't taken her ISTEP. So it really hit hard in that situation, because when you're the lonely one there, you do everything. And that, I think that compounded, in my opinion, what I thought was already a problem. And that is that we over-test. Now, obviously, test ACT, SAT, those tests have a specific purpose, and a lot of times that's to get you a scholarship to college, to get you into a certain university. So, you know, some testing is okay. I would love to see that on the state level. I could probably pass this back now, down the other way. But I would love to see more, I guess, more of a fight against this constant testing, the changing of tests, and also to look at some type of test that we could also use in a positive way. Not always just, you know, if you spend 4 years in high school and you do what you need to do and you're passing your classes, but then you have to pass this test. If not, you have to jump through all these hoops, you know. So there are some problems here. I definitely see that. I would love to see us work harder, you know, obviously not at the school level. We have to do certain things the state mandates, but beyond that, we need to start reaching out to our representatives and saying, what can we do at the state level to stop some of this over-testing, is what I would call it.
Thank you so much for that.
I have a little bit of a addition. Okay, I'll do it very quickly. Thanks for coming, students. Just like Greater Clark has a 7-member school board, and we're elected, the state of Indiana has a school board, and they meet in Indianapolis, and those people are appointed, and that appointed board makes lots of decisions that affect all of us and all of you. It's called accountability. The schools have to have, or we have to show that we are doing our job. And the way, you know, if we were making widgets, you can look at our widget and see if the widget worked